Selamat datang kembali. Welcome back to Bali Unveiled. We're in part 3 of learning Indonesian. We're going to dive a bit deeper into grammar because someone asked me in the previous episode, so let's talk about it. So previously I mentioned that verbs in Indonesian are not conjugated, so no matter the tense or the pronoun, it will always be the same. For example, makan, which means eat, you will always have makan no matter the context. Always be the same. So, for example, I ate yesterday, we say kemarin saya makan. And you will always have makan. So we did pronouns last time too. So no matter the pronoun, if it's he, she, it, or they, or I, it will always be the same. That brings me to the structures of Indonesian. It's really easy. It's always subject, verb, and object if there's one. For example, I am eating an apple. Saya makan apel. Saya makan apel. To get rid of this ambiguity from the simplicity of Indonesian, which is the structure, subject, verb, object, you will need to set the context. What I mean is, you will need to say the time the action is being done. Either yesterday, a few moments ago, tomorrow, later on, etc. And you will need to have these complements to give the context and make it understandable for the speaker in front of you. So yesterday is kemarin. Kemarin. And tomorrow is besok. Besok. So those are, I think, the two most common complements that you can use, talking about the past or the future. Something to know is that in Indonesian, tomorrow and yesterday are not necessarily fixed on the day before or the day after. It can be a bit extendable. So if you say tomorrow, besok, you can mean 2 or 5 days in the future. It can be ambiguous too in that sense, but I mean, it's more like in the future or in the past than literally tomorrow or yesterday. You can mean it like that. You can say, okay, tomorrow on this day we're going to do that. But if you're not really giving any other context, if the person doesn't really know what are you talking about, you might need to be more specific on the date or the day if you want to say that. For questions in Indonesian, it's actually pretty simple because you keep the same structure, you just say it in a more questionably intonation or question way. So let me give an example. For example, have you eaten? And you have eaten is the same, it's just the intonation that is different. So to say that an action has already been done, use sudah. So for example, for this example, it's kamu sudah makan. So that is, you have eaten. And have you eaten is kamu sudah makan. There's a different slight variation in intonation, but once again, with the context, when you're speaking with someone, you can easily make it more like a question. You will make an expression with your face or your intonation, and they will understand that it is a question. If you want to distinguish between question and non-question, there's actually a remnant from Japanese, which is to add ka to the end of the sentence. So, kamu sudah makan kah? So if you use that suffix, not really a suffix, but if you use the word kah at the end of the sentence, that means that it is a question. Now that you know the structure, you just need to learn some new verbs. I will give you some here, but if you want more, just write it in the comments and I will make a specific video on verbs. If not, let's get into it. So first is makan, So makan is to eat, you already know that. Now to drink. Minum, minum, minum. To go. Pergi, pergi, pergi. To sleep. Tidur, tidur, tidur. Actually, you can say good sleep to someone that is going to go to sleep. And you say selamat. So we already learned that. Selamat tidur. Selamat tidur. You can translate that to sleep well. That's it for this episode. Terima kasih banyak. Thank you for listening. If you like this episode or if you want to learn more about Indonesian, I have a whole playlist. I have 2 other episodes on learning Indonesian, and I have a whole playlist on Bali. So if you want to check that out, please feel free to do so. Like, subscribe, comment if there's something you want to say, and I'll see you in the next one.